Okay, so we have a 240 bishop, and you are currently switching back and forth or staying, one of the two?
Staying for now, because it's like kind of expensive, but uh, planning on switching at some point back.
Mm-hmm. When you're like gonna push to 250, something like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you're doing hard lucid only or also hard will?
I tried a hard will party, like on Wednesday. We just did a practice run, but
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna keep practicing.
Was it the same party or like different people?
It was a little different. Um, just some of my stronger guild members asked me to join.
Okay. But everyone was in general like not very experienced yet, so...
Yeah, we had maybe like one or two people that have like run before,
Mm-hmm.
but
So the
most of
phase
us
2
are
was
pretty new.
painful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah, the first 3 or 4 phase 2s tend to be a little bit like you're not 100% sure. You're still like kind of like feeling it out, like where's the safe spot, like the test, the timing, communicating properly, not dying too much, when to bind. Yeah, moonlight build up in the beginning. It's kind of
Yeah,
rough.
like we have plenty of damage. Like
Mm-hmm.
we burst it like halfway down or whatever, but we just kept failing tests.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an actual mechanics check. Yeah, Lucid is more of a damage check, and then Will is more of a mechanics check.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is that your shell can sometimes keep people from like failing their tests. Like if they're about to get hit, you
Okay.
shell them.
Did
Sometimes
not know that.
that can like give them one extra fail
Okay.
before
That's
they
good
like
to
get
know.
dumpstered. Yeah, and one thing that's generally good to do is did you guys stay in like one dimension for phase 1 and then also shell, or did you guys swap?
I mean I shelled like every swap, but
Mm-hmm.
like some people were already in, the safe dimension.
Yeah, okay. So if there's ever like a really close call and everyone switches over, and people don't have enough moonlight to switch back, but you just barely are able to make it, then shelling them can make it so that that you can actually still make the test and that nobody dies because of the screen crack if it's on the other side.
Okay.
That's like
Yeah.
that could be an extra benefit if you're cutting it like real close. If somebody decides to stay behind and you make it that way, then it's all fine. But if people yell like I can't switch, something like that, you can throw up a shell, and then sometimes that saves, because it could save 2 minutes essentially of your run, right? And
Right.
if you're gonna be closer with time with the phase 3 and everything, then all of the time you don't waste in the beginning can be time spent doing more damage in the final phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in general, just entering phase 2 and entering phase 3, shelling for those is also really useful.
Okay.
Because for phase 3, you know about the stay move mechanic?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of times you'll have to move and people are still in the air and not even landed yet, and then if they don't have a shell, they're just dead always. So yeah, shell
Okay.
can
Yeah.
save people there sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they asked me to join,
Yeah.
because Bishop has a lot of survivability.
Yeah, and the door in the beginning, you can probably redoor once, probably even twice during the run.
Yeah.
So between that, yeah, it
Yeah,
gives a lot of.
it's really handy.
Yep, for sure. And between that and like the kind of pink barriers and stuff, it helps survive a lot of people. I think it's a good time now that people are actually learning that there's more value in classes like Bishop, and also in learning the mechanics of the boss rather than just relying on the healing familiars too much.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it kind of sounds bad, but like a lot of people learned to play the boss on like easy mode and didn't really realize how much stuff there's actually there to deal with just because familiars were kind of carrying people. 6 healing familiars is huge. And that being gone now, a lot of people are
Yeah.
confronted with, oh, there's actually, stuff that we need to be doing to not get absolutely run over by by like the spider walking and by
Right.
getting pushed
Yeah.
into
It
webs.
makes
And
phase 2 much harder.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so the goal, like, what is the goal to like see how can you make that push to 250, or what are you specifically trying to get out of this? I guess.
Um, just kind of like general guide on what I should be upgrading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I don't think I want to go to 22 stars pretty much ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting for 5, 10, 15 for Star Force. Um, but like other than that, I don't know exactly what I should be looking at.
So in general, my theories or the way I go at this is like if you have a general thing that you want to achieve and that requires you to be stronger than you currently are, then I will look at like how like what is the best way to get you to be that strong and to keep your like possibilities open if you want to get even stronger and go even further than that. But if you're able to just like kill the monsters around your level now and you're able to do the bosses that you already want to do right now, to some extent I wonder to which I wonder like do you really want to upgrade things right now, or do you just want to sit on all your money until there's a huge like great opportunity, and then pounce on that? To which extent is that just way better than to upgrade just because you know because you can always upgrade, right? You can always throw money at something to try to make something
Right.
stronger. But the question is to which is it really going to help you improve your gameplay, I guess.
Well, I mean, ideally, I could go back to Ice Lightning and be useful in a boss party,
Mm-hmm.
but that's gonna be much more difficult, I think, than just being a bishop.
Yeah, because I think the only thing you have is like a decent bind, but then the Kana bind is always better anyway. So
Right.
I think you
So
slow the
yeah,
boss
I
a
mean,
bit.
it's just like being useful for golem clear or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the chain lightning, but that's even with hard lucid golems tend to not be a huge problem anymore either. Should
Yeah,
be most
not too
parties.
bad.
Yeah. What's your party composition looking like?
We have a thief. I think he just switched to Night Lord to try to help us burst down phase one faster. A hero, Wild Hunter, Mercedes, Kana, and then me as a bishop right now.
Mm. Two archer party. You don't see those very much.
Yeah, not not that often.
Not that often, no. I guess they some. Well, we did the old lucid runs we used to do to help my mom get her drops. Was most of the time was like three archers and then whoever else we could get to join. One time we had just three archers, three kanas. That's our party composition.
Oh gosh.
It was a interesting golem clear going on there.
Yeah.
But domain always up, so that's a plus, right? 100% domain coverage.
Yeah, that probably helped a lot.
Yeah, that helped the archers. Yeah, I got a where we have marksman, wind archer, and a pathfinder. So yeah. So do you have like full drop meso set? Like, what's your combination looking like?
I have 100% from gear from meso and 20% on my inner, and then I think I'm at 80% drop or maybe 60.
Let's see when.
Yeah, I'm at 60 because I switch. One of my pendants has drop in 2 line. It's supposed to be a damage pendant, but it also got a drop.
Yeah, oh, that happens. Oh yeah, I see it here. Yeah. And then one of your wait, where's your fifth line of meso? Wait, I'm only seeing four.
It's the aquatic eye thing, a reinforced earring, and then 2 reinforced pendants and the silver blossom ring.
Oh, I think I'm missing one of them because I see four here. Hang on, I have the silver blossom, the reinforced, the two reinforced pendants, and then the reinforced earring, and then what's the fifth one?
The like aquatic eye thing.
Oh, aquatic eye accessory. Okay. Oh, okay. I guess that's one's. Ah, we found the one that was forgotten. I think
Oh no. I
it's okay.
spent so long.
No, it's the curse. Everyone forgets one. That was it. Okay, but that's like a temporary drop rate thing anyway, or like a drop meso combination gear anyway. So that's not
Yeah.
that important. Okay. All right. So and then alongside that, you have technically 4 lines of drop, but you switch one out for meso, so you have 3 lines of drop to guarantee
Right.
your bags, and yeah, and then you keep 5, 8 one item that's just full, like one. Which item do you keep that has like full damage?
My Sweetwater tattoo.
Your face, yeah. Because that one has 3 line int, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you want to keep. As far as stats go.
I think even without it on Ice Lightning, I was one-shotting Arcana, so
So that could
wasn't
switch out
super
for
important.
yeah. So that could maybe switch out for a drop rate item.
Yeah, I was hoping to get a legendary on my power crystal, but I could use only 6 cubes during the last DMT,
Yeah.
and then I used all the rest of them off DMT and got 1 tier up.
Nice.
So that was great.
Yeah, great gains there. Amazing. Yeah, that was quite something.
Now I'm a bishop, so I can't farm for the new DMT.
Oh yeah, so it's quite expensive for you to switch these days, right?
Yeah, it's 900 mil.
You gotta farm quite a bit to swing that. Hopefully after
Yeah.
July 22nd, when people get carried by familiars again, you can just be IceLighting.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed for that one. All right, what's your Legion looking like? 4.5. Okay, so let's go back to like the foundation thing. So just you want to have like a general sense if you start upgrading what you want to be aiming for. And the goal for that would there be a specific goal, or is it just to get stronger?
Well, like the specific goal is to not have to be a bishop to be helpful in hard parties.
And is there have you given any thought to playing as a fire poison?
No, not really. I mean, I could probably try it, but I like Ice Lightning a lot.
Okay, because fire poison is a very strong mage as well.
Yeah. I mean, all 3 have their plus sides. It's just like, which one do I want to spend the most time on?
Yeah, it's especially the added benefit of being able to train on an Ice Lightning is so much more straightforward, and your rates are just so much better.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
I switched to Ice Lightning from a hero, so it's way better.
Slight upgrade mobbing wise, yeah. Okay, so the goal is to be as strong as needed to not have to. Okay, not have to. Okay, so you can just be Ice Lightning and not feel like shit.
Yeah.
Basically, okay. Let's see. All right, what's your so you have like this as your main character that you're playing just on one computer. You're doing everything through this character, progression-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have any other character that's like a decently high level, or is the rest just all Legion?
My hero can do up to Lomian solo.
Okay.
Well, I usually duo just because
it's faster and it's
I
more
don't want
guaranteed.
to buy as many freezers.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, being able to and reliably every single time, and being able to like burst it down in one hit is still very big difference between the two.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so it's 235. Yeah. Yeah, if you get like a bad laser in Lotus, and then you wanna, things can get annoying.
Yeah.
I feel that. Okay. Did we do a gear progression for War?
Yeah, that was. I don't even think it was 220 yet.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Because I remember the IGN now.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. And you got snack backwards here. Oh, your name is Shoe backwards. I just got it.
Yeah, I found like a nice theme, and it's pretty easy to find decent names. So
Yeah. You made it a little bit more obvious with the shadow by capitalizing the last letter. So bottle. Sock. Oh, I see. Doggy. Knockback. Okay. I see. Okay. So you've got 2 link skill setups here. Okay, one thing I wanted to that kind of like jumped out at me was, isn't the critical rate for bishop supposed to be like super high by itself?
yeah, we get 100%. That's why I have 2 link skill setups. So one was when I was an Ice Lightning, one's now that I can remove all the crit rate from links.
So
I should probably take it out of hyperstat too.
yeah,
It's
because that's what
just
I was thinking. Yeah.
that's like, yeah, that's a lot of effort, I think.
Well, it's 10 mil, right? So it's not. I think it costs you 10 mil to reset your hyperstats, and then it's just some clicking.
Yeah. But I mean, is there like, would there be anything more worth it since I have basically 10 on everything except boss damage, but I'm not a damager as a bishop?
Yeah, that's a point. 1033. Well, points out of intellect would already give you the extra 3% boss damage. Without even leaving the other points, right?
Yeah.
Well, if somebody said to you,
That's a good point.
would you pay 10 mil to gain 3% boss damage? Would you do that?
As a bishop, I actually don't know because
The answer is yes.
makes
Yeah.
some of our skills better.
That is true. Yeah, your benediction lasts longer, right? Or gets a better effect.
Yeah, it's like most of our buffs are like plus something per like 1,000 int or whatever, so it
Mm-hmm.
helps get me a little bit higher. I don't know if it's that bad, but
Yeah, I heard about the meme, and some people are like that they stick to like 10 or 12 star tyrant capes instead because it gives you like way more intellect.
yeah.
Yeah, don't know to which extent. I don't know. I feel like the party has bigger problems if the reason that they're failing is because their bishop doesn't have 4 hyperstat points in intellect. I feel like then at that point,
Yeah,
there's maybe
I mean,
something.
it's probably not that helpful.
There's something more structural in the party going on that maybe needs to be addressed,
Yeah,
rather than
like
giving you
the
shit for your.
Mercedes.
Yeah. Oh, we're pointing fingers at the Mercedes. What's going on with the Mercedes? Is he dying a lot?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
It's honestly, it was Arcana, but it's fine.
Yeah, the Kanas, dude. They just get carried. They don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's chill. He didn't want to be in the party. We were just dragging him for free domain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're just getting used. Well, I mean, that's the life you sign up for when you're a Kana.
Honestly, yeah.
Brainless farming and being used for your domain and your binds. That's it. But I mean, you do get a pretty cushy ride all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Oh.
He just wishes he could come on his Pathfinder, but we need the Kana.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, if there's another party where someone else goes on their Kana, then they can go on their Pathfinder. That'd be the goal, right? You can make multiple parties
Yeah,
within your guild, and then
I think his Pathfinder does normal with some of our guild, but I mean, no one wants to do normal forever.
Okay, yeah. So for the yeah, you're kind of right for the hyperstats. Like that doesn't do an insane amount, and you are still mainly the support and even going in your boss damage. The one thing is though, because you're not training at all now, right?
I mean, yeah, not really.
You're just doing dailies,
like capping coins.
Yeah, exactly. So what would be the point when you feel like, oh, I'm super strong, so now I'll switch, or it's like, well, I want to go to 250, or we have familiars, so you guys shouldn't need me for the survivability anymore, like any one of these? Or?
I think like if I got an Arcane drop, I'd upgrade that and probably try switching back. or if familiars come in are like not garbage,
Mm-hmm.
that would be, I would probably try switching then too. Or if I decide that I want to get 250 to like do more damage against Will.
Right. Oh, your boost nodes are like bugged, but I guess your setup is because they're like the picture looks like the one skill cut in 3. I don't know if that's a memory leak thing when that happens, but
Oh,
like you can't really see what the
I
combination
actually
is.
did not notice that. They're perfect, I guess,
Yeah, the
according
force setup.
to one of the websites I found.
All right, right. So your angel ray is like level 28.
Yeah, it's Big Bang Angel Ray and Bahamut.
Yep.
And then I actually got rid of the second set. Like I unequipped those because apparently they're not as useful. It was like
But
Door and Genesis and Big Bang.
Genesis door, Big Bang or
Yeah, no, I just boosted Big Bang again.
I see. Oh, so your nodes stay under here, but then they're locked like that. I see. I see. Yeah, I never like used Open Job Advancement, so I never seen how this looks actually.
Oh yeah, it's kind of confusing. It fills up a lot, or like takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, I could see. You have to like scroll through it sometimes, probably. Yeah. And then the other guy is way more decked out. Yeah. Okay. I see. I see.
Yeah, I was IceLighting for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Clearly. Okay. All right. So what's the regimen in a day that you do? You do dailies on your main point cap.
Yeah, dailies, point cap, and then if there's bosses I haven't done, I do that, or I sit around and wait.
until you get the call, until the bat symbol goes up in the sky.
Yeah,
Like
honestly.
we need a bishop.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I'll like, it depends, like if I have 2 hours that I don't have something to do,
Mm-hmm.
like uninterrupted, then I'll buy a totem, and like I've been working on my Terra Burn mechanic to get more buff duration.
All right. So yeah.
But
Okay. You're slowly working on those as well.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But it's just like hard to find 2 hours uninterrupted.
Yeah, it is a yeah. It's kind of sucks that you're locked to needing that 2-hour session to get the full value out of your totem. It always feels like a waste if you're only using it for like an hour or
Yeah,
something like that.
if they lasted for an hour, that would be absolutely perfect. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
feel
easy
that.
to find 1 hour, but 2 hours back to back is very hard.
Yeah, give you way more flexibility or like an option to pause it within a 24-hour span or something, so that you could do an hour and then an hour later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be highly beneficial. Yeah. So well, you have like most of the characters for your Legion, right? Because I see a lot of them. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, I have like all of the,
30.
or not all of the important links, but most of the important links, and then like a decent amount of useful Legion buffs.
Mm-hmm. The knockback resistance is very useful, right?
Yeah, it's vital.
Vital, yeah. Seen some people getting ping-ponged around during hard lucid. It's not.
Oh, it's so bad when I have like accidentally forget to cast it for the 5 seconds that it's down or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. The slight underlap between or whatever the opposite of overlap is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you do like a little bit of Legion every day as well to keep that going?
Maybe not every day, but like I work on it at least a little bit each week. I just like this week's been busy, so I haven't done much this week, but I work on it some each week.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you didn't continue my naming scheme, because it gets messy after a while.
Yeah, I figured like if I ever enjoy a class and then it has like a weird name. I
Okay.
just like feel weird playing it.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. My hero Dow's Mule 19. Yeah, it's a little awkward. But then people think I have 18 other characters that are all stronger than this one, so I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
there's some positives, I guess. Okay, so you're just focusing on 140 on most of this stuff, and then maybe 200 with some characters, but you just finish your burns. That's good.
Yeah, mostly just like if there's a terror burn, I'll get it to 200, but
Mm-hmm.
like I don't care too much about going past 6k
Yeah,
anytime soon.
no, that's fair. And then, uh, which ones are you using the level up potions on that we have in the shop right now?
Well, I thought I could use them on my terror burn, but I couldn't. So
Uh huh.
yeah, that would have been so much like so nice because mechanics just not great. But
That would be fast, yeah.
I yeah, I haven't. I should probably do like one of the 120s that are annoying.
Yeah, you could do 120s that are annoying, or characters that you might want to get to 200 that are maybe close-ish. But then, yeah, if you get unlucky with a potion, it just gives you one or two, feels a little bit shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's up to you. It's something that you really don't feel like training. I guess the Mercedes would give you a little bit more cooldown reduction.
Yeah, that one might be good.
Hayato critical damage. That's both pretty good. If you don't like those classes at all.
Yeah, it's more I just like got them to 120 like when I first was making my links and then didn't realize 140 was where I should have stopped.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kind of could tell by the gear. Some have like more the Zakum gear, and others go a little bit further with more burning stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then with Pencer stuff. Okay. Okay. So general, moving forward. So basically, like money investment wise, where are there easy gains to be made, and then which ones are substantial, and how would you tackle that basically?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what you have here. So you have 72, 27, 16, 80 plus 21, 16, 70, 27. That CRA seems solid. It's really only Star Force. Glove, 10 all. Well, yeah, I'm kind of assuming, I guess, because of how how far you're in with everything, that like the more what I would call the basics, I guess, between like flames and how transfer armor and IED and invulnerability and transposing and all of that already kind of makes sense to you.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah. I just like for flames right now, I think like most of my stuff's decent and like I just kind of hate the idea of flaming over something that's not awful until like my Star Force and potential are at good places, so.
Yeah, specifically because flaming doesn't have an event, right? And Star Force and potential do.
Right. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So that does make sense.
And then if you get unlucky and you spend like 5 bill and get nothing good or nothing better, then it just feels even worse.
For sure. I mean, but that goes for every single type of upgrading.
Yeah. Well, I mean, potentially you can, use black cubes or whatever.
Yeah, true. You do have a kind of a safeguard there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you were waiting for Fact 10 15, but getting everything to 17, that shouldn't be that much money. That still leaves you with a lot of projects to do.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know how exactly like how much different going from like 15 to 17 without the free 16 star costs.
Oh, how much you would save doing it?
Right, I mean, like would it just be worth it to try for 17 without the event, or
Well, one of one of the
yeah.
main factors there is whether or not you're going to be safeguarding. That's like a huge
Yeah, I
thing.
probably would safeguard just because I'm not like going for 22 yet or like higher than 17, so
Mm-hmm.
it's I think safer instead of farming for a bunch of backups.
Yep. Boop, boop. Yeah, it costs you like less than half during a 5, 10, 15. It's like 7 to
Yeah.
800 mil each compared to like
Yeah.
during a 30% off even. Like not even off event, but like during 30% off, it's like 1.7, 1.8 probably, 1.6, 1.7 per item. So it's kind of bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it adds up, right? Because it's multiple items as well.
Right,
Um,
it's like almost all of my items. I think I have like 317.
so one of the things, if you're thinking long term and going past 17, there's two major ways of going about that. One is just building as much money as you have and kind of like brute forcing through it, but not really. So like spending more time on farming disproportionately, and not as much on getting backups. And then the other thing is just mass getting backups, a lot of them, and then waiting for events, and then just relying on strength in numbers, I guess, and no safeguarding, and then just eventually getting there. What would kind of determine which way would be the best way to go is for every single item that you're trying to upgrade, what the potential on there already is. So, and what type of item it is. So for CRA, it's mainly just a matter of doing CRA every single week and just piling on a huge
Right.
amount of tickets, and then just waiting for 5, 10, 15 and just star forcing it. And then just seeing, basically just rouletting between the pieces, getting everything to 18, then everything to 19, something like that. When it comes to Absolab, though, that's way less easy to get. But I think all your gear is at the point, like your gloves are pretty good, but it's also like that's decently recubable, right?
Yeah, I've tried for 2-line multiple times. It just hasn't come.
Yeah, it's not that easy. Because if you're transfer hammering, like your flame will even stay the same. The only thing is tearing back up to legendary and re-rolling.
Right. Yeah.
But that's like the price you pay for saving a lot of money on the star forcing. I don't think any of your items are at the point where you're like, oh no, this potential is 100% the best. Like the double prime on your shoulder, I think, is the best one. Well,
Yeah, most of my
arguably your glove, I
stuff's
guess.
2-line.
Yeah. So that, but
And then I got like a few lucky 27s.
Mm-hmm. So the fact that you have 2-line on Absolab, that gives you a good opportunity there to be able to go long-term transfer hammer progress there without having to get a bunch of Abzos and not having to recoup a whole or having to roll over a whole lot of already invested costs when it comes to the potential.
Right.
So for that, the goal would be to save up your resources that you need to get backups, level 150 backups, and then wait for a 5, 10, 15 to go like big there. Maybe even before you get this to, because most of the stuff is already 17, except like your shoulder is 15. Like you could just get 1 star on your shoulder to get it to 16, but mainly focus on even going past that already. And then the main thing will be to find an amount of stars that makes sense for you with how you play the game. Because you don't want to have to like, okay, I'm going to get a bunch of stuff to 19 or something and then transfer hammer it over to 18. Well, then you're basically only upgrading 1 star, right? That's like all not even
Right.
worth it. If you're going from 20 and you go down to 19, that could be worth it, but then you're stuck at 19 with those items. What I tend to do is try to go for 21 on level 150 items, then transfer them over so you have 20 star Abzo. That's like a significant upgrade to 17. And that does give you the option later to be like, do I want to risk going from 20 to 21? or am I crazy and I'm actually trying to go for 22? But I don't think that's necessary because I think like 20 or 21 Abzo is like a very realistic endpoint for a lot of people.
How
Um,
does like 20-star Abzo compared to like Arcane?
20-star Abzo is basically like 17-star Arcane, roughly.
Okay.
And then like 21-star is roughly like 18, and then 22-star is roughly like 19. Arcane gets a bit better. But yeah, like if you have a full 22 set Abzo and you're like, oh, I'm going to go for Arcane instead, you need to get at least 19-star all Arcane to.
So would it be like reasonable to stay at 17-star Abzo and then like just do hard bosses and farm droplets and stuff, and then just go to upgrading Arcane at some point?
You could
Or
do that as well as the upgrade, and then basically if you upgrade to 17-star Arcane, that would be like going from 17 to like 19-ish, uh, maybe 20-ish on Abzo. Yeah, that could be the same thing. The thing is, that was kind of what my plan was as well. Minus the training and the farming for them, but mainly just the doing the bosses and just getting the drops. But I'm now like 1 year in with my arc without a single drop.
yeah,
Um,
that's I guess the biggest problem is
it could,
RNG.
yeah, because there's still RNG, and then your whole plan can be. But then there's another guy who joined us a month ago, and he's already gotten 2 drops. So you could be the lucky one, you could be the unlucky one. The problem is if you're gonna make a plan for like a year, and you're gonna be banking on getting lucky, then there's a chance that your plan kind of like falls apart.
True, true.
But yeah, so that's kind of like the tricky point that you're on. If you feel like you're going to be reliably training and farming a lot more in like the near future, and you're going to get a bunch more droplets, and the items did get more cheap now. There are
Yeah,
only
that
quote unquote
that's so
only
nice.
108 droplets each. I had the misfortune of kind of like already investing into the DA and buying my own weapon there, and then also buying my own weapon on my arc. So that's like 480 droplets combined. That that the
Yeah.
DA that could have been like if I didn't get the weapon there, that could have been two equips on the other character, But yeah, so for me with how I play and look in hindsight with how unlucky I gotten with the drops, it made more sense for me to do like 21-star 150s, transfer hammer into Abzo, recube it, just get good flames over time. And then once I felt like I have enough money left, and I looked at how much I could actually gain from going from 20 to 21 and how relatively low the risk is blowing up from 20 to 21. I decided to do that. I didn't blow up any of my pieces, thank God, on my arc. So now I'm like full 21-star. And that's just good enough for me. Like I can do whatever I want to do. And that just makes sense for me. And yeah, it doesn't bother me that it's like so close to 22. But I
Right.
know that for other people that can be different in how that like bothers them when they're constantly looking at the lack of the 1-star. I see the fact that it has 21, not the fact that it's missing one, but kind of depends on
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you look at that. But yeah, you got to know yourself in that if you're able to like overcome that, or if that's going to be constantly like itching, like be an itch that you have to scratch. Or so I think if you're going to be reasonably farming a lot and switching back to Ice Lightning, and that's something you enjoy doing, and you're going to be training and farming and grinding like that. Yeah, the one thing you have to keep into account is once you get to a certain level and you have to stick to a certain area with your character to keep getting your droplets. That's going to really hurt your meso and your droplet income, and not your droplet income, but it's going to hurt your meso and your experience income, and then you kind of like
Right.
lock
Yeah.
yourself in there. That's why people do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid that as long as possible. I
Yeah.
hate playing contests.
I think if you're wanting to build up a set of arcane gear, that it's almost necessary just because of how much more realistic it is to get more droplets through through the Arcana farmer than it is to get lucky and get drops from the bosses, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably have to do that eventually.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. If your goal is to get the set of Arcana rather than go for high star Abzo, then that's what you'll probably have to do to make that a reality. Yeah.
yeah. At what point does like having more arcane like set become better than um like 5 set Abso?
I think it was 4. Hang on, Abso. Baobab. No, that's a fucking tree. Cause you're now 5 set Abzo, right? Yeah, because the 6 says
Yeah.
Garbo. Yeah. 95 weapon magic attack. Yeah, so the 4 set is better in like brute, in brute stats, but you'll miss the line of boss damage at that point.
Okay.
So you'll gain 20 stat and 10 weapon magic attack, but you'll lose the 30 boss. And then when you get the 5 set as well, you'll be 20 stat over, 40 weapon magic attack over, and then be equal on the rest basically.
So like hypothetically, if I did get an equipment drop, it's better to use the arcane and then switch to an Abzo hat. So then it'd be like 1 arcane piece and then 5 set Abzo through the hat.
To keep the boss damage going, technically, yeah. But yeah, it'll depend on how much of a. So it'll depend on how much of a chunk you are of the damage on the boss itself that you're fighting, because you're also not gaining stat for your benediction, right? You're only gaining magic attack and boss damage. And I don't think you need the magic attack for your mobbing, and the boss damage. I don't know how big of an impact that will have on the rate of killing of your party. So that might be a lot of money that you spend in that to min-max it, but it might not be necessary.
Okay, yeah.
So I'd probably just keep the hat, because eventually you'll switch back to it once you get a lot of arcane, probably.
Yeah.
And especially you'll switch back once you get your Genesis weapon, so.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
You know, we're planning ahead here, okay? We're looking into the future.
Yeah, like 5 more years.
Oof, yeah. It'll be interesting to see when they start nerfing that guy a little bit. Make it a little bit more accessible, but that's probably not gonna happen for another year or two, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe summer 2021 or 2022 or something. Yeet. Thank you, David. Okay. So, all right. So you do want to get the arcane set, right? That makes sense for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think going to, at least from like what I do, I don't know if going past 17 stars on like Abso is ideal. So I don't farm like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly do weekly bosses on my 2, and then like maybe 1 or 2 2-hour sessions a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Then to kind of keep the potential, keep the flames, and even keep the Star Force like roughly where it is. Like if there's a 5, 10, 15, then I would
unless
get the.
There's an event.
Yeah, even for a 5, 10, 15, like you can get like the free star on your shoulder, but I don't think I would even push to 17 on the items that aren't 17, because if you know you're going to do Arcana, the other thing that you can then definitely invest in is your accessories and making sure that those are 17, the ones that aren't yet.
Yeah.
And then just like rouletting your CRA stuff to get damage out of that.
Right.
Secondary. And then the only other thing on the side would be like your potential on your secondary and your emblem, but I'm guessing you're waiting for familiars before you do anything with that.
Yeah, yeah, I mean my secondary is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think when I did my like calculator, it said I should have 2 lines of IED, but that would get fixed with familiars potentially.
And getting your legion bigger and making that source of
Right.
IED bigger
Yeah.
will also help that. Yeah. Yes. Long term. More buff skill duration in your inner ability would be nice, but I'm always very hesitant to tell people to roll out of 20% meso-obtain if they're still going to be training, because that shit's just so good.
Yeah, I've been chucking like a little bit towards like circulators. I just haven't gotten buff duration.
Yeah, it's very, very hit or miss with that one. I always give people the horror story of my mom who spent 18 bill during sales and never saw it, and it's
Oh
like,
gosh.
yeah, it's a little rough.
That's scary.
Yeah, and there's the other guy who got it on legendary reveal in the chat when he when he teared up. So
Yeah, that'd be nice.
that's the contrast we're working with. So I have no idea what to really advise there. Just make sure you keep your honor experience up. Do your weekly dojo run for honor experience from the shop.
Yeah.
And yeah, kill a lot of monsters, kill a lot of bosses, loot all the medals, and then maybe buy if you're still like working on that. Maybe buy the honor experience medals from event shops if you can, if you have spare coins. Oops. But other than that, drop my keys. Yeah, other than that, that's like a really long side project. And since you have the 20 meso-obtain and the 21 magic attack and a little bit of buff skill duration, I think this is for now definitely
like,
good enough.
It's like very good for now.
Yep, for sure. Yes. So, that's interesting that cup flame is worse than that one. Oh, because it got.
Yeah. So it like as I switch between meso and like farming gear versus damage gear, they flip back and forth.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So in damage, in drop gear, the left one is better.
Yeah. Yeah, and damage gear, the right one's better.
Yeah. And you see why that is?
I think the flat stat probably scales better.
So when you go into drop rate gear, you lose a lot of percentage stat, and therefore comparatively the percentage on your cup gets way more value. And that's why the left one is better on drop rate set. Yeah. That's why flame scores is like an approximation, and it tries to aim towards of a certain set of stats between everything, because in any given point, switching a few items around is going to make your flame scores go super haywire all over the place, and it's not really an exact science for an exact for any situation.
That's why I don't like messing with flames too much. I just get something pretty decent.
Yeah, whenever I try to explain it to my mom, I was like, so this one is better flame score than this one. And she's like, well, when I switch it, this one gives me more damage. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, it's confusing. It's not, it's not as intuitive as you would want it to be. But yeah, it's also completely unworkable to reflame everything every time you make one upgrade, of course.
Right. Be insane.
Yeah. But so in general, saving up for a 5, 10, 15 and getting like 1 star on your shoulder, getting your accessories to 17, and then kind of if you have money left, you can like kind of roulette between your CRA stuff, because I assume you have a bunch of backups for that.
Yeah, like a little over 100 of each piece.
Okay, so there's no problem whatsoever. What some people do if they push for like high amounts of Star Force, that's not something you're gonna do here, because you got like the 2.5 line. But what some people do is they just reveal all of the pieces they have and see if there's any of them with like a really good flame, and that saves you the money of flaming basically.
Oh.
And then
okay,
and then if you blow that item up, you just transfer the trace and it just overrides the shittier flame that the other ones have. Because every time you open it up, it's basically like an eternal flame. roll, and you can
Right.
also fuse some together to maybe get some, as long as you keep some backups, of course. Because if you calculate the value of actually NPCing those items or extracting them for Philosopher's Stones, it's virtually nothing. You know, even with like 1,000 pieces, if you calculate all of that, it's maybe like 200 mil worth or something. But if you calculate, well, fusing all of them together, that's like 300 Eternal Flames worth. You know, if you could choose between 200 mil or 300 Eternal Flame rolls, like
Yeah.
that's an easy math right there. So, but
Yeah.
that's so when that comes more into play, that would be like I'm keeping all of my CRA at 17 as well, just focusing purely on the accessories, and then maybe on maybe saving the rest for cubing for my weapon and my secondary whenever we have familiars. And then making like the big jump from 17 to like 21 to 20 or 21 on CRA. And then when I decide to do that, I'll just do a secondary set of CRA that I do that with the other method. But basically, the only way you'd be doing that is if you're going to be aiming for at least like 100 flame score on each of those, which is only about like 20 or 30 increase from what you have now, I think. 30, 30, 20. So that's in total like 80 stat gain. Is that worth throwing away the legendary potential and the lines that you have now in your item? Like, for very few people is that answer yes. For you, that's definitely no. So I don't think that's like an option for you. But that is, in general, like an option that people have, you know, for the people watching. That is a thing that you could do. But generally, you would do that if you have like 2-line potential. Like, let's say the hat has like 18% intellect and the top has like 18, you know, like that kind of potential where it's like, it's not a, yeah, it's like pretty easy to re-roll. And the flame is only like 40 or 50 now. Then the potential gain is pretty big. But that's mainly something you do on like a second, third, or like a fourth character that you're trying to like, you know, basically you're doing like huge frog leaps in your progression. Then you could decide to do that. For you, it's a little bit more of a gradual process. But yeah. So first things first, shoulder accessories, and then probably hold out for the familiars. Keep trading farming, dailies, and backup. Oh, and I think something was your tattoo, I think, right? But that falls under the accessories. I think that one was at 15.
Yeah. Yeah, that's at 15.
How are you doing for like backups for the eye and the face? Do you have extra dineros?
I'm at like almost 1,000.
Okay. So every now and then, yeah. As long as you keep doing it every now and then it's okay.
Yeah, and I kind of stopped because like I don't really plan on doing 22 anytime soon. So like having, I mean, I can buy like one more of each if I need.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, like however you play it and however which dailies you do has to match with what you are aiming to do, right? It makes no sense to do like 2 hours of dailies every day to prep for a situation that you're never going to get into. The only other thing is that, are you able to kill Helix?
I haven't tried as a bishop. I was able to on my IceLight name.
After the change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I
Because
have
that's
like
very important.
a little over 1,000 coins.
Okay. And you have like old coins that you're trading in weekly and...
No, not anymore. I traded them all in.
Okay, you trade them all. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it depends on when you started running that boss. Because I think my DA and my Arc are going to be switching for another 2 years, but some of my other characters are like done switching at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have like 8,500 left on 2 characters each.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to get like all of the pieces that I need before then.
Yeah, I completely forgot to buy the earrings already on my hero. I had like more than enough coins, but I just never bought them apparently. So now I'm gonna have to buy them for 700, even though I could have bought them for like.
That's rough.
But okay, you know, time goes on. Heroes like using reinforced earrings with like 27% or something for some reason. I don't even know what I was doing there.
Oh wow.
I think I tried to roll for drop or mezzo and ended up rolling 27 strength. So I was like, well, I guess I keep that.
Yeah.
Kind of like with your tattoo, I imagined you were maybe looking for some drop and some mezzo, but
Actually, that was my drop for a very long time, but then I got mad that it was my drop one, so I re-rolled it.
Well,
Because I had a
sometimes it works out.
on my power crystal, I have 21% unique and 5% flame. So I hated that one was my stronger one.
Yeah, it feels counterintuitive because it's like lower, but also like the set bonus and the better flame, and it's like it's lower level. It should be worse,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And then I accidentally got a 3-line, and I was like, okay, I'm happy.
Happy little accidents sometimes. Yeah, I think, well, especially because you have the 12th line attack right on the emblem, like there's definitely some gains there, but that's always expensive. So you're gonna in general run into like much bigger projects. So in general, saving up money for longer periods of time is probably what you're gonna have to be doing, and then either get too antsy and throw your money off event, or be very diligent and patient and wait for an event announcement. But yeah, I hope you can get a lot of droplets while training, so that, and maybe get some drops from bosses, unlike myself, and that is a realistic aim for you. Because then you can really start min-maxing the flames on those. Flames are going to be huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely wait until you have some kind of Star Force off event before you start Star Forcing Arcane, because they're insanely expensive to Star Force.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna take a lot of saving for.
Yeah, because like even if you do 0 to 15 without an event, that's like 1.6 bill. If you get it to 17 during 5, 10, 15, yeah, it's like you're looking at like 3 bill plus for one item.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, if you're looking at like 22, these are the numbers you're looking at. This is why we're impressed with 21 and 22 star Arcana.
Gosh, 50
because,
bill.
yeah, 50, like 75th percentile is like 70. You know, the booms is actually kind of low, right? Like this is not like super scary.
I mean, 2 booms on Arcane though, that's...
I think if
you don't get drops, that's like hundreds of hours.
Yeah. Look, if you go down to 21, it's like 1.13, one boom. But then, you know, the cost is still like 35 bill each. Now you got 5 pieces. That's 150 plus bill, 160. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Well, yeah, so playing around with this can help you a little bit as well sometimes if you're like, you know, like if you get to 200 from 0 to 17, right? That's what you're like looking at. So that, like, that's this cost. And the other one would be to get your current 17 to like 20, right? On your 160. Which is like this much each, right? To get the same kind of return. Oh wait,
Yeah,
there's a no boom sauna on for some reason. My bad.
bill.
I don't know why that one was on. Hang on. Let me see if that affected the numbers. Probably did. I don't know why that was ticked. My bad. 3 point. Yeah, like 3. Yeah, 2.5, 3. And this is more. The one thing though, the one benefit about going to 20 though is that the jump from, like if you're going from 20 to 21, like that can be, this is interesting. Median cost 300 mil, average cost 3 bill. 3 bill.
Yeah.
75% chance within 800, and then 85% chance within 4 bill, and then 95% within 18. Like to see the average boom is like very low, right? But if you do it on 3 items, then there's a good chance that one of the 3 booms. But then if you get lucky, like I was able to get it on all 5, this jump basically would be the same jump as going from 17 to 18 on level 200 gear, which that's like, those numbers are way more scary, right? So
Right.
It keeps your option open for like a small increase, but the other one is a more guaranteed close to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on all of that and your input, your income on the drops, and what changes in KMS, maybe they do some more crazy shit. They also have those events, right, coming up, where you can just buy a bunch of droplets from the shop.
Yeah, honestly.
Or you just buy half an
I
item.
really hope we get those.
Yeah. If you get those, you could just buy, I think you buy like half a shoulder and a half of one other drop from the shop.
Yeah, I think it's like 50 droplets
Yeah,
per shop.
yeah, and an item is 108. Yeah, so there's almost half
Yeah.
almost half an item. That could be pretty cool. I hope they, well, I mean, I should hope they did that like 2 years ago, but that they implement something that people who don't get a equip drop get like a coin drop or something, so that eventually if you do like hundreds of hard bosses, that maybe you can just afford one just for, through
Right.
merit of running the bosses.
That'd
but
be so nice.
some kind of compensation, but that doesn't look like that's in the cards just yet. Although, so in general, the progression with Maple is that they, whenever they release some kind of equip set that is better than what is the current best in slot, then whatever happens with the previous then best in slot is that they easy access to that by a lot. So they've started that process, but I don't know if you were here back in the day when they started Absolab, but it was crazy to make Absolab in the beginning. I think the coin cost was like triple the amount, and I think you needed 50 drops for one coin or something. It was quite insane. Wow. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
That's just how good it was compared to what was the best in
Right.
slot before that. And then, them reducing the coin price per item. That was like the first step. So hopefully there are more steps there to follow.
Yeah, that.
To make it a little bit more
especially
accessible.
with like Black Mage being so far ahead, it would kind of make sense to make Arcane easier.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how some servers, people are like soloing it, and then other really big servers, there haven't even been clears yet. There's such a huge
Yeah.
discrepancy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
in
it's
general,
like a
yeah.
Mercedes clearing of all classes.
Mercedes, yeah, Wind Archer, Night Lords. If there's like a Demon Avenger soloing, then we need to have like a conversation, I think.
Yeah.
maybe with the Revenant skill, maybe they'll start like. Although, from what I've seen, how the Revenant skill works, it's pretty much like a guaranteed death afterwards. Because you're getting a shit ton of damage just dealt to you by the skill.
Yeah.
I hope they kind of like cleared up what your options are, so you can make like a better decision there.
Yeah, it does.
Because I guess it was less specifically looking at what you have now and how you need to upgrade this, but more in general, like how do you get a plan together from here? Like what are your options moving into the next phase?
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people feel that when you get close to 17 and like two and a half lines potential and everything, like because you got huge investments to do, and like which direction do you go with those? So hopefully that
do you think like trying to tier up some of my unique items during the next DMT would be useful, or should I just save?
They're 21, right? All of them?
Yeah,
Ring
my
pendant.
solid ring and second damage pendant are both 21, and then my heart's like 4%.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we looked at. We were talking about like the shop with the droplets, right? That shop also has the fairy heart. Level 100 heart. That'll cost you 2 bill,
okay.
but then you'll at least be able to get 12.99 on that.
Okay.
So if anything, it's probably just worth holding off for that. You have 4% now where you had 0 before, and you don't have to reforge hearts, and your android is actually alive, and maybe you can use the shop function. Right. So I would I would just take that as a win and leave it at that. For the accessories, like the general advice I would give everyone is what would you be able to settle for on those accessories that would warrant the upgrade? Because you would have to aim for higher than 21 in Legendary to make it worth it, right?
Right.
So if you're going for higher than 21, wouldn't it be better to just like red cube your belt, for example?
True.
Because that one's already legendary and it's already 21, and you don't have to go through the trouble of tiering up, right?
Yeah. It's just like the
yeah, it looks yellow
idea
and the rest
that-
is green.
yeah, yeah, and like I can't like upgrade it without tearing it up.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Or yeah, you have to like double prime it with a Master Craftsman cube or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could. It's totally up to you. I don't think it's necessary. But if it makes you feel better, then you know you you do what you got to do,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you get lucky, you get like a double line of drop, double line of mezzo or something, and that allows you to re-roll some other stuff and get some more intellect on that. Maybe. That's a possibility.
Yeah. Do you think I should maybe try to get some double line meso drops?
I've never tried to force that myself, because if you would, then you try to black cube it, right?
Right.
Whenever I made a set of drop and meso obtain, I just always got at least one item with like double lines in getting. So usually what I do is first I get the set with like 5 with meso, 4 with drop, and then I run around with that for a while. If I have enough money and or there's an event, there's a sale, typically I try to re-roll it to the same composition, but for every item to also have a line of stat along with it, so that, you know, 9 strength or basically 9 strength along with all of them on 9 items gives you 81% stat. I say strength, but just stat in general, I mean. And that allows you to at least salvage some damage from your accessory set other than just the base stats. And then usually in that second part of the process where I kind of like refine the items, that's usually when I get at least one item that has double lines, but I've never actively chased that. I've like tried to YOLO go for it, kind of like do it for the clip on stream once on my arc, and I happened to get it on 2 items within like 80 red cubes, which is very lucky.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And everyone got really mad in the chat, but that was not something that I was actually expecting to happen. Like, oh, this would be cool if it happened, but I wasn't really expecting that. Overall, it's really good, of course. Like, if you can double stack on those, it's really, really beneficial for your progress.
Right. Because that would just make getting droplets and nodes and stuff easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then you'll just get many, many more lines, and then it also, you know, at the bonus or when you're doing bosses and stuff, you'll be able to just get a little bit more likely to get some drops here and there.
Yeah.
But again, that depends on how you're upgrading, right? If you're trying to just go for the Arcane Shoulder, you don't have to bother too much with Madman Remaru and stacking those shoulders and all that stuff. That's like another pathway if you're trying to do the Transfer Hammer way instead. But yeah, more drop rate there will always help you out and that kind of stuff, yeah. Yeah, so I hope that the July 22nd update gives you a 5, 10, 15 good news.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm highly expecting one. I'd say there's like 80 to 90% chance that there's going to be one in there, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense. They're doing like 30% and whatnot.
Because I think the last 3 events we had was a 30% off this Sunday, and then before that was a 1+1 up to 10, and then before that was another 30%. So I think in the next 6 weeks, I think it's very likely that we get 5, 10, 15, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Is there anything specifically that you're still wondering about, or you feel I glossed over?
No. I think I'm good.
Yeah. You have enough information to come up with a great plan. I mean, I hope that you get a drop very quickly, because that will just like kick your ass into one direction.
Make it much easier to decide what to do.
Because sometimes having too many options is kind of like it immobilizes you, right, from really picking a lane. Yeah. And then
do you think I should go ahead and get a Abso helmet and just upgrade that on the side?
That would be for the in case you get the weapon.
Do get an Arcane or something?
Mm-hmm. How many droplets do you have now? Because I think you're not going to want to... 48, yeah. So you're not trying to make the weapon anytime soon.
Yeah, no.
So that would have to depend on a drop. honestly. I mean, honestly, you could. I'm like very frugal, so I don't. I'm like super safe and kind of like risk avoidant. But I think there's no real harm in doing that. And then if you have some flames, you can just chuck them on to see if you can already get something nice going there.
Right. Yeah.
Because you don't want flames to be expiring, and you don't really have that much to flame except for maybe like another cup, I guess. Because I guess your cup flame score isn't
what
crazy.
I've been doing.
Yeah.
I thought about getting a third cup, but that just kind of feels weird.
Oh, that's what I do. Yeah, I have like my damage handkerchief on my DA, and then the drop rate cup, and then I have a third cup that's sitting there until I have a fourth cup, and then I fuse the third and the fourth together to try to get a better.
Okay,
I don't know. At some point you gotta stop though, but yeah, I feel like that's about.
Because you could just have who knows how many cups.
One for full Meso Obtain, one for full drop rate set, one for the mix set, one for damage set, one for dojo, one, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, so then you'd have something more viable, I guess, to throw flames on. Maybe that'll give you a better state of value. I guess to get like really nitpicky, there are some items that could get some better flames, like your tattoo, for example, is rather low. But like the average outcome for flames there is really bad. But I guess there's some stat to be gained there. And in general, your Abzo could be better. But if you're able to do everything now that you want to do now, just saving up and then jumping on an event when it comes around, I think is the better long-term play here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Are you satisfied?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have a few routes that I can take. Just depends on how my hard boss runs go.
Yeah, and if you like start farming and you're actually like really getting into the groove again, you're like, oh, I can do this, or you're like, oof, actually, this doesn't sit very well with me, or I don't know, maybe you suddenly fall in love with Kana and you make an Arcana farmer. I don't know, like.
Oh gosh, I hope that never happens.
The things that would have to change for that to happen. Yeah, no, or you can play a lot less suddenly, and maybe slowly progressing towards Heist or Abso make more sense again. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But just know that all of those paths are like relatively viable, like comparatively viable. I mean, and it would just depend on if you make a jump start in one direction or if you have a certain desire to do one over another.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. I'll see you in chat.
Yep.
Bye.